We always talk about government secrets like classified files and things, but
Right.
what about classifying people?
Oh, yeah. That's
It's
interesting.
kind of wild, right? Like it's almost a secret in plain sight.
Yeah, definitely. And a good example of that is Elon Musk recently being named a special government employee.
And it's not just a fancy title. This has some pretty big implications. Today, we're diving into a recent Ring of Fire YouTube video that breaks this whole thing down.
Absolutely. And I think what we really want to get to is like, what does this designation even mean?
Yeah, so let's get into it.
Okay, so the video starts out by highlighting this announcement from Caroline Levitt, and she's the one that kind of spills the beans about Musk's new status as this special government employee.
And the thing is, it's not just a name. It actually comes with some exemptions. Like he might actually be exempt from some federal criminal ethics rules, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's significant because basically what the video is saying is that if a special government employee is not getting paid,
And Musk says he's not taking a salary, right?
right, if they aren't getting paid, they can be exempt from things like financial disclosures and reviewing conflicts of interest.
And those things are usually in place to make sure that people working with the government aren't, having their decisions swayed by their own personal finances.
Exactly right. Yeah.
But now this is where it gets a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
The transcript mentions that he's not getting paid, but the scale of his involvement could still be enormous.
Huge. Right.
Yeah, and even though he might not be technically on the payroll, there is still this requirement for him to give private financial disclosures. But guess what?
We don't get to see them.
You and me and the public don't get to see them.
Right.
And that leads to, some speculation. The YouTube video kind of brings up this point, like, could this whole designation be a way to keep Musk's financial dealings under wraps?
Yeah, it definitely raises some questions about transparency for sure.
Okay, now this is where the video gets really interesting.
Okay.
It makes a pretty wild claim.
Uh-oh.
They allege that Musk and this group of young individuals have essentially taken control of the U.S. Treasury's computer system.
Like hacked it.
Yeah, and it's not just access. They're saying they could potentially have access to trillions of dollars and even have the ability to disrupt, government operations.
Wow, that's a big claim.
Yeah, it is. And it's important to remember that these are allegations from the YouTube video. We're just laying it all out here. But they then go on and they connect this whole access issue back to Musk's exemption from those ethics rules.
Right.
So they're kind of painting this picture where you have this person with potentially huge influence operating without the same oversight as everyone else.
Right. And I think the core concern here is like, what if there are hidden conflicts of interest? Like, let's say Musk's companies are getting federal funding, but he's also able to influence government budget cuts in a way that benefits him. We just wouldn't know.
Exactly. And the video really drives home the point that because of this special government employee classification, we, the public, are completely in the dark about his financial disclosures and any potential conflicts that might be coming up from all this government involvement.
So yeah, to recap, we talked about Musk's special government employee status. We went over how that gets him out of certain federal ethics rules, the whole thing about financial disclosures and conflicts of interest. And then we looked at the YouTube video's claims about conflicts of interest we don't even know about, and this alleged access to some pretty sensitive government systems.
So it's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
And it leaves us with some pretty big questions. Like when we see individuals with this level of influence getting these kinds of special classifications, what does that mean?
Right.
It really makes you think about transparency and accountability at the highest levels of government.
Yeah.
So that's something for all of us to ponder.
Definitely. Yeah.
What do you think?
Hmm.
Food for thought, right?
Lots of food for thought.
Thanks for listening, everybody.